Hey, welcome back to MobilityWOD. Come on over here. I'm going to talk you through something. I got something very special today. One of the things we're always talking about is kind of this relationship between mobility, performance, and sort of this kind of catch-all lifestyle complement. So I built this big bubbly triangle from Juliet. And remember, the thing that we're most interested in changing is performance. That the whole concept of what we do with mobility is this test-retest paradigm. Is that how do I know I made change? Well, I can measure change. It's got to be observable, measurable, and repeatable phenomenon. Otherwise, it's irrelevant. I'm not interested in changing correlates. I'm interested in changing the thing. If I'm trying to improve your squat, I want to change the squat and measure changes in the squat. Well, oftentimes, we develop this relationship over here that I call lifestyle. And we put, in this lifestyle box, we put nutrition, sleep, stress, work, all of the aspects that sort of kind of drive you and make you you. And we know that you get bad sleep, 30% immune compromised, bad sleep, and you're pre-diabetic for the next day. Well, one of the things that happens is that when we see errors in lifestyle, we see direct correlation to mobility. And that the quality of your tissues really do end up dictating how well you can resist deformation, how well the tissues are able to heal. And we see direct kind of, the whole point of this idea of lifestyle is to put myself into good adaptation, have a good adaptation response from exercise, and hopefully see some positive change. Because we know when we have mobility factors, we see direct kind of decreases in performance. So mobility is a set of tools to change position, to improve my performance. I know how to test and retest this, but over here, we've struggled for a long time with how do we test and retest your lifestyle? How do we measure nutrition? How do we measure lifestyle? So here's what happened. I'm going to introduce, this is Jim King, president, founder of Wellness Effects. Now, Jim has been one of my athletes for, I don't know, how long, 3 years, 4 years? 2 years. 2 years, here. We met at the Stone Cut. No. No, we didn't meet? Just here? Okay. So we met a couple of years here, parking lot of dreams, that's an issue. And a long time ago, Jim was talking about the fact that he couldn't get a good blood test to be able to measure and track lifestyle, right? So enter Wellness Effects, which is a company that we have just blown our minds in some of the testing, and basically it's a really good blood test. Can you talk about it just for a second?
Yeah, sure. So about 3 years ago, I had a really adverse effect on my physical. I asked my doctor what caused my biology to change and why all of a sudden am I in the bad range. And he didn't really know. And so he said, well, I'm just going to put you on a medicine. But I'd prefer to correct my biology, so I went out and started trying to buy blood tests and different diagnostics. Couldn't do it. So I put the company together so that average consumers could buy really sophisticated diagnostics because they're really important, they're predictive, and you can move them with nutrition.
Now wait, you're not testing like if I have the BRCA gene for cancer. These are actionable items, right? I can see something, change something, and then test and retest. That's sort of the hallmark of this, right?
Absolutely. So this is all about getting ahead of the curve, being predictive, thinking about what's going to happen today, but maybe 3 months from now, even 20 years from now. And it's all about wellness, prevention, things that you can move that are actionable.
All right, so really it's a conversation about systems biology. Now take a look at this. I have this other idea that I throw around once in a while, and Jim and I are good friends, and so we're always sharing ideas. But check this out. I have this concept that if you have the right lifestyle plus correct movement, that equals something. That equals you are a healing machine. This means that your body is set up for adaptation and for healing at any age, at any disease process, at any stage. You have this immense capacity to heal yourself and change your personal biology and system biology. And so as I talk about being a perfect healing machine, when we get elements of lifestyle and correct movement in, it's interesting. Jim is like, oh yeah, what's this graphic you called it?
So there's a really famous graph. It's called the rectangularization of aging. Should I draw this?
Yeah, draw it. The rectangularization of aging.
So imagine on your XY axis, you have health. An oldest living person, Jean Calment, France, 122 years old.
Bam, 122. How much could he deadlift at age 122? That's what I care about.
Actually, it was a 105-pound French woman, and she changed.
Oh!
So we all have this experience that as you get older, you start kind of doing this, and you go asymptotic, otherwise known as death. And medical science over time has actually moved you out of it along this part of the axis. But you know what the real thing you should be doing is actually how do you figure out how to make this into a box?
Wait a minute. You mean, can you make this into a box so you just die?
Absolutely. So instead of just moving along this axis, let's really set the goal high. Let's populate this part of the graph. So as you start doing this, you start implementing, maybe you start working out, so you started getting a little bit steeper here. Maybe you started figuring out, hey, I don't metabolize D vitamins very well. So now I'm here. Maybe you say, all right, well, I'm going to start actually being more fit in certain areas with tissue health. And what you've done is you've started actively populating this part of the graph.
So this is all well and good, and I can find out if you were right or not when I turn 120 and die there. But how do I know that I'm moving in the right direction?
Well, so first of all, every single day, every single minute of your life counts as far as what you put in your body, what you eat, whether you sleep, happy, sad, everything.
What do you mean? Cheat days count?
Cheat days count. Oh! You're either turning on bad genes, good genes, turning them on and off. Everything matters. So you got to show up every single day. And so you can have a couple cheat days because you build up this reservoir of strength. But what you do here determines if on any given day you're going up or down as far as populating this part of the curve. So it's a day-by-day project that translates to 120 years.
And you can see these changes in your system biology.
Yes, so predictive biomarkers. Last 10 years, golden age of prediction and what they're starting to call human instrumentation. You can measure yourself in more ways than you can imagine. What used to cost $500,000 a marker to run 5 years ago is now sub $10. 5 years ago, there's maybe 25 known biomarkers that were actionable. There's now over 500. The next 5 years, they think it's going to be 2,500. And all these things, when we say actionable, it's just not some doctor giving you a drug or some intervention. It's actually, do you react well to food? Can you drink or eat certain things? How do you react to exercise, stretching, everything that goes into that?
Right on. So, what we're going to do now is I'm going to just talk about, just for 1 second, some of my own personal experiences, and then we've got a couple case studies we're going to show in some later videos. So it turns out I do a lot of traveling sometimes, don't do a lot of sleeping, and lo and behold, when we fractionated my cholesterol, like my last cholesterol panel, total cholesterol is 160, which is pretty low. That's not bad. A 40-year-old guy, you know, you eat some ice cream once in a while. Well, we pulled it apart, and it still says that I have work to do because lifestyle is making it difficult for me to manage some of the ways I eat sometimes.
Actually, lifestyle plus whatever your genetics are.
Bam!
Yeah.
What do you mean? I can actually blame my mom for something?
Yeah, about 50% is nature, the other half is nurture.
There it is. So here's the deal. We're going to now hit pause and we're going to put on a real-life case study of the thing I care about most. Not some biomarker box, which is all well and good, but this hot, dirty, nasty performance. This is the key. Test your test. All right, hit it.